I'm going to tell you a story. 7 priests walk into a bar and the barman says, "On your bike, out you go." Sounds like the start of a joke, but it isn't. In fact, that is what happened to a group of priests in Cardiff after they were mistaken for a stag party. So the landlord thought this lot are going to kick off, they're going to be very rowdy, they're all dressed up in fancy dress here. But actually what had happened, Charlotte?
Yeah, they'd popped out for a few drinks at the City Arms to celebrate because 2 of them had just become ordained. So let's find out whether they managed to straighten things out, because we're joined now by 4 of the 7 priests who were turned away from the pub on Saturday. So welcome to Reverend Robert James, Reverend Nick Williams, Elliot Hanson, as well as Father Michael Doyle from the Archdiocese of Cardiff, who is behind the bar this morning. So
we should point out, fathers, you're not sitting there this morning. We should say that you wouldn't normally be in the pub at 20 to 8 in the morning. Is that fair enough?
With a drink in front of you.
That's fair enough.
It's fair enough, fair enough. You wouldn't be telling me a lie now, would you?
No.
No, of course not.
No, the thing is, the pub in question in Cardiff is called the Reverend James, and Charlotte just introduced you all. Am I right in noticing there that there is actually a Reverend James amongst you?
Yes. That would be me. Yeah.
And was it named after you?
It's my favourite ale of mine. No, unfortunately it was named after a Methodist minister. But I'm going to take it as my own now, I think.
Good man. Well, Reverend James or Father James, tell us what happened. So you were out, you know, lovely big day. It was an ordination of fellow priests, and you thought afterwards, look, we've got to celebrate this. Take the story away.
Well, so we walked through the door of the City Arms, approached the bar, and the barman said, no stag do's, no fancy dress. So we were a little shocked. We asked him if he was being serious, and he said he was. So we turned on our heel and walked towards the door. And the manager approached us, believing us to be who we said we were, and asked us to stay, saying there would be a free round. So naturally, not being ones to turn down a free drink, we stayed.
Yeah, I'm not. You look a bit rowdy. You look a bit.
I was going to say, is it because
could all kick off there?
You've got quite you all seem to have quite a jovial air about you. Do you think it was, you know, obviously it's what you're wearing as well, but is there something about, you know, all of you en masse being out to celebrate together? Do you think that's what maybe led to the wrong idea?
En masse, that's a good joke.
That was good.
That was all right. En masse.
That's a very good question.
Potentially. I suppose we would have been quite happy as we walked in, because it was a celebration. We were celebrating.
However, we have to say that these are not nylon and they don't have Velcro.
Not this particular version. And Father Michael, we've got to ask, because this isn't actually the first time that you've all been mistaken for a stag do, is it?
No, it's been a great joy for the diocese, because in the course of a week we've had 2 ordinations. And after the first ordination, we decided to go to another bar in Cardiff. And while we were sat there happily eating away at our meals, a lady came up to us with a pint glass in her hand, and she looked at us and she actually said, "Got to ask you the question, are you genuine or are you a stag?"
And what did you do, bless her?
I looked at her and I assured her we were the genuine article. She initially didn't believe us, and then when we all spoke up, she just went, "Oh," and moved on.
Well, Deacon there beside you, and I'd just like to ask Deacon Williams, I'm getting a picture here that you are fun sort of guys, that you don't spend all your time on your knees there, but and so you like to get out, and I suppose that's mixing amongst the community, is it?
Absolutely. I mean, that's where people are, but that's not why we went there. We went there just to have a quiet drink, and we ended up then being the toast of the entire pub and ended up speaking to all sorts of different people. It was great. Really enjoyed it.
So the moral of the story is, do you go out in your civvies from here on in, or does that attract better attention there being in your cassocks?
It certainly opened a doorway this particular time.
Well, you've done quite well with the free drinks as a consequence.
I think Absolutely. I would have no problem with going back out in my collar again. I think it was wonderful, and you know, people didn't see it as a barrier. They just wanted to come up and talk to us, and that's what they were doing all afternoon. So,
and I understand
no
that
problems with wearing the collar.
I understand it might be a bit easier next time because we understand the Archdiocese of Cardiff have now put out an appeal to this particular bar not to turn clergy away, and we understand even the Archbishop is a regular there. Is that right?
Yes. He is indeed, yes. But he does not wear his purple when he goes in.
Oh, he's undercover, is he?
He's undercover.
Father Elliot, we'll leave the last word to you there because you're the quiet man of the bunch, I would say there.
Certainly.
What are you planning for the weekend?
They're hitting the town.
What am I planning for the weekend? Well, I hope that this weekend will be substantially quieter than this last week has been. You know, we only popped out for a quiet drink.
Well, squeeze a few masses in as well. Lovely talking to you guys. Thank you very much indeed. I think this will lead to a whole new revival of Father Ted, personally.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good to see you. Very good.
Cheers.